Ever wondered who the most corrupt politicians in the world are? It's a question that, honestly, cuts right to the heart of what we believe about leadership, about trust, and about the very systems we put in place to protect us. We look to our leaders for guidance, for integrity, for a sense of hope, but what happens when that trust is shattered? What happens when the people who are supposed to be serving us are instead serving themselves? Today, we are going to pull back the curtain. We're going to look into the lives of individuals who held immense power, but who allegedly used that power not for the greater good, but for personal gain on an unimaginable scale. Our journey begins in the Philippines, a nation of breathtaking beauty and resilient people. And for 2 decades, it was a nation under the rule of one man, Ferdinand Marcos. When he came to power, he promised a new society, a vision of discipline and progress. He was charismatic, a war hero, a brilliant lawyer. He and his wife Imelda presented themselves as the father and mother of the nation, a picture of glamour and strength that captivated many. But beneath that glittering facade, a different story was unfolding. Experts and investigators believe that Ferdinand Marcos siphoned anywhere from $5 to $10 billion from the country's treasury. When protesters stormed the Malacanang Palace after the People Power Revolution in 1986, they found evidence of an opulence that was simply staggering. The most infamous discovery belonged to the First Lady, Imelda Marcos, her collection of over 3,000 pairs of shoes. It became a global symbol of an almost cartoonish level of excess. Now, we travel to the heart of West Africa, to the vibrant and powerful nation of Nigeria. In the 1990s, Nigeria was under the iron fist of a military general named Sani Abacha. He was a career soldier, a man of few words, whose stern face, hidden behind dark sunglasses, became the very image of his regime. From 1993 to his sudden death in 1998, Abacha ruled Nigeria with absolute authority. It was a period marked by fear and repression. Sani Abacha wasn't just corrupt, he treated Nigeria's central bank as his own personal piggy bank. It's estimated that he and his associates plundered up to $5 billion in just 5 years. The methods were shockingly simple. Abacha would tell an advisor he needed money for national security. The advisor would write a note to the central bank, and vast sums of cash would be delivered directly to the general's home. Abacha's family became masters of international money laundering, funneling stolen billions through prestigious banks in Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and the United States, creating a complex financial maze designed to be impenetrable. Let us now turn our attention to Southeast Asia, to the sprawling archipelago of Indonesia. For 32 years, one man stood at its helm, Mohamed Suharto. He was known as the Smiling General, a figure who projected an image of calm, fatherly stability. Under his New Order regime, Indonesia did see significant economic growth. Infrastructure was built, poverty was reduced, and the country became a key player in the region. To many, Suharto was the architect of a modernizing nation. Behind the smile, a vast system of corruption was taking root. Suharto created a system where he and his family had their hands in virtually every significant part of the Indonesian economy, controlling monopolies on everything from cloves to flour to toll roads. Transparency International estimates that Suharto and his family siphoned off somewhere between $15 and $35 billion through a system often referred to as crony capitalism. The end came in 1998 when the Asian financial crisis shattered Indonesia's economy. The people who had endured decades of authoritarian rule finally rose up, demanding reformasi. The Smiling General's grip on power finally broke. Our story now takes us to Eastern Europe, to the proud nation of Ukraine, a country at the crossroads of history. In 2010, Viktor Yanukovych was elected president. He was a divisive figure who drew support from the Russian-speaking East, but it was the revelation of his personal lifestyle of almost unbelievable opulence that would eventually boil over into revolution. The symbol of this opulence was his private estate, Mezhihirya. This wasn't just a house, it was a sprawling 350-acre compound of pure luxury, all hidden behind high walls. Inside this fortress, there was a private zoo with exotic animals, a golf course, a helicopter pad, and a garage filled with rare vintage cars. One of the most bizarre discoveries was a solid gold loaf of bread, a paperweight that became the ultimate symbol of Yanukovych's vulgar and absurd excess. When protesters finally broke through the gates during the 2014 Revolution of Dignity, the world saw for the first time the sheer scale of their president's greed. The estate was turned into a public park, a museum of corruption, where Ukrainians could witness firsthand where their stolen tax money had gone. Our final story takes us to South Asia, to Pakistan. Our focus is on a man who served as prime minister, not once, not twice, but 3 separate times, Nawaz Sharif. He was the head of a political dynasty, one of the country's richest families, but the full extent of their offshore holdings remained hidden from view. Everything changed in 2016. A massive leak of 11.5 million confidential documents from Panamanian law firm Mossack Fonseca sent shockwaves around the globe. The papers revealed that Nawaz Sharif's children owned several luxury apartments in London's most exclusive neighborhoods, held through offshore companies in the British Virgin Islands. The central question was this: where did the money to buy these multi-million-dollar properties come from? The Sharif family struggled to provide a clear answer. The nation was gripped by daily drama in the highest court. In July 2017, the Supreme Court delivered a historic verdict, disqualifying Nawaz Sharif from holding public office for life. The story of Nawaz Sharif is a powerful example of how, in the digital age, secrets are harder to keep, and investigative journalism can hold even the most entrenched leaders to account. We've journeyed across the globe today, from the Philippines to Nigeria, from Indonesia to Ukraine, and finally to Pakistan. 5 different countries, 5 different leaders, but one common theme: the profound betrayal of public trust. These stories are more than shocking headlines. They are deeply human stories that have impacted hundreds of millions of people, stealing not just money, but their hope for a better future. Behind every stolen dollar is a school that wasn't built, a hospital that wasn't equipped, a family that remained in poverty. This is the true cost of corruption. Yet in each story, we saw the incredible resilience of the human spirit. We saw people rise up, demand change, and begin the long journey toward accountability and justice. These stories remind us that we, the people, have a voice and a role to play. They challenge us to stay informed, to ask hard questions, and to demand integrity from those who lead us. The fight against corruption is a global one, and it is far from over. Thank you for joining me on this eye-opening journey today. It's a conversation that matters, and it's one we must continue to have.